Okay, okay. All right, all right. As somebody in Texas said. All right, all right. Okay. Yeah, welcome, welcome this morning. Super excited. We have Nilbert in the call, and Nilbert, the call is yours. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, George. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. How's everyone doing today? I can see people are still coming in. I know people will be jumping in from the other Zoom as well. All right. Well, let's get started as usual. Let's have a couple of shares. Anyone who wants to share anything about their business, any new brand ambassadors, any new advancements. Wow, advancements are so exciting right now, right? Because every advancement has something extra attached to it, right? Until when does the promo, is it until November or December, George? I can't remember. Oh, you're muted. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, it's the beginning of November. Don't
Beginning
remember
November.
the date.
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
to
And
check
those are
right now.
pretty hefty those tokens, they're good as cash, right? They're good as cash and you can
100%.
use them for enrollment packs as well. So it's really amazing. I love tokens.
November 2nd, November the 2nd.
November 2nd. All right. Okay, so anyone has anything do they have anything exciting to share? Any events happening in your area? I know we have regionals going on right now because this Saturday I'm
Yes.
going to attend the regional in Orange County.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Samson's gonna
had
be there. Yep. I'm loading my car. I only have a five-seater, so I packed it up with brand ambassadors I could drag with me from San Diego, and we're all going to Orange County. And then I think if it's more than five, Lovey is going to pack her. She has a six-seater. She might pack hers, and we're gonna convoy up to Orange County. All right. Well,
Yeah, we have
okay.
also in Salt Lake City. I'm gonna post the. We are gonna have on Tuesday an event at corporate. You have anybody in Utah? It is a great, 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 great opportunity for you to meet some of the leaders and also obviously to see the presentation.
And that's in the headquarters.
Yes, at the headquarters. I'm gonna post the. I
Okay.
think it's already posted on the Facebook group. But I'm gonna post it here if my screen it doesn't stay frozen for some reason. It's frozen right now. But
All
for
right.
for the
Well, we are going to get going. I know people are still going to be jumping on, but the topic we have today is one of the very necessary skill sets that we all have, or we all need, I should say. And it's the one that actually translates into direct income. It's closing. Right? I've given this training before, and so God's honest truth, I think it was Sunday night. It was Sunday night. I sat down, and I was kind of looking at the notes, and I was like, I was going to create a whole new slideshow, but then I looked at the one, the close, the art of the close that I gave training sometime back, I think earlier this year, and it pretty much captured all the key points that we kind of need to know about closing. So me ever being the, like in the Navy, we always say work smarter, not harder. So I said, wait, I already have a really nice slideshow, PowerPoint. Guess what? I'm just going to use it again because a lot of folks from like earlier part of this year may not have seen it, and we have a lot of new folks that have joined our
Well, I'm not in the
community.
meeting. I'm just
So
saying I'm at the I'm in.
so here we go. So today's topic is the art of the close, and let me share my slide with you. So the art of the close. So why is the art of the close so important? And again, I mentioned it earlier. It's because it's the one skill set we have that directly translates to income, because when you close someone, they enroll, right? That translates into what? Product introduction bonus. That one person that you enrolled may have qualified you for the core three, right? Or that additional enrollment that you did added enough points for you to cycle. So every which way that it can actually translate into direct income. So what we're trying to do is equip participants with confidence and skills to close prospects effectively, maybe give some tips on handling objections. And what are we doing? We are guiding them toward a decision, right? It's never about pressure. We're not pressuring them to join. It's always the closing is basically giving them all the information they need so we can guide them towards a decision. Did you know that 80% of the sales happen after the fifth follow-up, but most people give up after the first or second no? I think most of you already know this. I definitely experienced this because, I definitely had a lot of no's in the 2 years that I've been doing this, right? So yeah. So what does that tell us? Persistence, right? Just because the person said no the first time, the second time, don't give up. Don't give up on that person, right? So closing, what exactly is closing? Is it, like I mentioned earlier, it isn't about forcing a decision. It's about helping prospects make the best choice for their goals. We're trying to improve their lives, right? We're trying to show them a better way to live their life, to be healthier, and possibly to also have a better financial alternative rather than just like I love when Christine always, so tell me, are you planning to do that forever? Right? That kind of has oh, well, I definitely don't want to be in my 9 to 5 job forever, right? It makes people think, right? Okay, so the closing formula. Uh, is there a formula? Yeah, actually there is, right? There's a closing formula. Number one, you have to build certainty before closing. Okay, by the time you're ready to actually close your prospect, you already have to be at that point have built certainty, like already showed them, what's a better alternative, that it's like so clear to them that wow, these products are definitely very high probability to be life-changing for them. That's just an example. But okay, so people buy based on emotion and justify with logic. That is basic human nature. Okay, people buy based on emotion and justify with logic. So ensure they are excited and see the value before closing, right? Show them, what's in it for them, like health wise, promotion wise. We have so many things to offer, right? Not just in the health and wellness realm, but currently we have exciting promotions, right? When they decide to do the business, whenever they rank up, there's extra money on the table. Whenever they just build their organization, there's extra money on the table. There's so many promotions we can offer them, right? Get them excited. So 3 key areas of certainty, right? Products and service. Do they understand how it benefits them, right? Our presentations, the way corporate designed our presentations, it's designed to really provide these answers. Okay, these 3 answers. One, do they understand how it benefits them? Do they see the value in the product? Number one. Number two, can they trust the business model? Right? Showing them the compensation plan, how the numbers work, right? And then also showing them the leadership behind the company. Those two combined, answers number 2 for them, that can they trust the business model or not? And number 3, do they believe they can do it? When we show them, or when we share testimonials from people from all different backgrounds, all different professions, right? It makes them, wow, these are real people who are experiencing all this, all these benefits, right? It gives them a sense of, well, yeah, if they can do it, I can do it too. Okay. So the ABCs of closing, all right? Always be closing. always be closing, okay? Number one, closing starts at the beginning, not the end. Can you believe that? It's not as if like you wait until the very end before the actual closing starts. It actually starts from the very beginning. During your presentation, during your follow-up, right? You're already using trial closes, or you should be using trial closes as you get to know the prospect, as as you're going back and forth. How do you see this fitting in your life? Right? It's always good to ask them questions. So when you ask them questions and they actually have to think and answer that, it actually drives home the point even better, or more effectively, I should say. What do you like most so far? You don't have to wait until the end, or like what intrigued you the most. During the follow-up, during while you're showing this the presentation, the opportunity, you can interject. So, hey, I know this is a lot of information. What do you like so far? What do you like most so far? Okay. The assumptive close. Okay. So instead of saying, "Are you ready?" because that's definitely like a yes or no answer, right? No, I'm not ready, and then you're kind of stuck, right? Okay, so would you like to get started with the intro pack or the premium pack, right? That's kind of like what we call giving it's open-ended, right? It doesn't allow them to say no, because it like similar to asking what intrigued you the most, instead of asking did you like the presentation, right? They could say not really, right? But if you ask them what intrigued you the most, they're gonna think, well, is it the products? Is it a compensation plan, right? Okay. Overcoming objections like a pro, or at least as close as we can to being like a pro. Believe me, I'm not a pro yet at this point. I'm constantly working on this. I get stumped sometimes. So objections are a sign of interest. If you look at objections as not adversarial, if you look at objections as not negative, right, it's easier to basically overcome it and actually redirect it. So objections are a sign of interest. When they're objecting, that means they're interested, right? If they're not totally interested, they're just gonna say, "Oh, I'm good. Yeah, no, everything looks good. I'm okay." And then off they go, right? The feel, felt, found method. We've mentioned this in many different trainings, right? I understand how you feel. It allows you to relate to them, or allows them to relate to you. Many others have felt the same way. You're validating how they feel, right? That they're not alone. They're not the only one who felt that way. What they found was, and then now you're offering them a solution. You're offering them what other people found that solved or resolved, how they felt. Does that make sense? Right? It kind of gives them a sense of not being alone, and like, oh yeah, so other people have felt the same way. So, what they feel must be valid, and yeah, there's a way around it. Like this is their solution. Okay. So common objections and responses. I don't have the money. Well, okay. So if money wasn't an issue, would you move forward? Right? Because it's almost like I wouldn't say they walk into this when they say I don't have the money. So when you ask them if money wasn't an issue, would you move forward? Now, again, we're not trying to trap them, right? But this is an effective response, because what it tells them, or what it kind of conveys, basically, okay, if it wasn't really the money, and if you say if money wasn't an issue, would you move forward? Then they'll present you the next objection, which will allow you to address it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to address any kind of uneasiness, or uh, basically, if they're not really there yet, we're trying to get them there, right? We're trying to give them as much information as possible so they can make that informed decision with confidence. Okay. I need to think about it. And then, okay, so what specifically do you need to think about? Right? So one quick thing about those questions, when you ask a question, and they're thinking about it, it's okay for there to be awkward silence. Okay. When you ask them a question and they're kind of like thinking, the first person to give in loses. There's that saying, okay? It's okay. Let them think, you know. Don't give in to the temptation that, they're not answering like, okay, well, don't do that. When you ask them a question, the ball's in their court, wait for them to answer your question, okay? So, sealing the deal. Ask direct closing questions. Don't, there's really, it's been proven that beating around the bush is not really a very effective way, okay, to close, right? Are you ready to start creating results today? Be very specific, be intentional. Okay, are you ready to start creating results today? Not tomorrow, not next week. So are you ready to start today? Right? Are you ready to start getting healthy today? Would you prefer to start with the standard or the premium package? Again, we go back to that open-ended type of presumptive close, right? You're already presuming that they're in, and now you're just trying to make them decide, is it this intro pack or the premium pack? Heck, is it the pro collection pack, right? And again, like I mentioned earlier, silence is your friend. After asking a closing question, pause and let them answer. Don't give in to, don't give in to the awkward silence where you actually end up, okay, then you kind of try to bail them out of it. Yeah, don't do it. All right, don't do it. Once they agree, guide them through signing up and setting their expectations. So again, we have several ways of doing this. Some people are very tech savvy, where you just give them your link, and they're actually able to do it, right? But a lot of times, and I feel it's more effective that you actually guide them through the enrollment process to make sure that they actually check the right boxes, get them on the smart ship and all that. So conclusion and call to action, right? Key points. So build certainty before closing, right? Always use trial closes throughout the follow-up, throughout the presentation. Handle objections with confidence, right? If you're not sure of how to handle it, kind of redirect a little bit, right? But showing confidence is actually part of the whole formula, where you're trying to convey your confidence to them. And a lot of times they feel unsure, they're uneasy, or what, they're not sure whether it is something that they want to do. It's your confidence that's going to help them decide. Okay. Ask for the close and let silence work for you. All right. So this week, we're only Tuesday. We still have the rest of the week. Reach out to 3 prospects this week and apply these closing techniques. Okay. All right. A prospect who says no today is just a future yes waiting to happen. Okay. Or there's so many variations of this. No means next opportunity, right? Okay. For me, again, I've mentioned this time and time again. Someone who says no just is basically just saying no today. Not yet, right? Not yet. And from my favorite GOAT basketball player, right? I don't care what everybody says nowadays about LeBron. Sorry for LeBron fans. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. And that, my friends, is why he's the GOAT, right? So that's what I have for you today. Not a very long training. Again, it's just kind of like going through, I would say very basic techniques on closing. A lot of you already know these, really. A lot of you already are actually implementing these. A lot of you already probably already mastered a lot of these skill sets, right? But hopefully, especially for the new folks that are on here in our community, and for those who may have needed a refresher, uh, I hope this you can pick up some really good nuggets here. Uh, when I was going through this, it definitely refreshed my, when I saw when I was reviewing the different slides. Yeah, I need to do that more. I really need to do that more. That whole silencing, I'm pretty weak at that actually. I get a little like when there's awkward silence, I was like, okay, and then I kind of there's several times I kind of bail them out myself. So I'm still working on that. So it's a work in progress. I'm sure for a lot of us, it's a work in progress. But hopefully, these skill set trainings that we have will, you put them in your toolbox so you can use them to help you close prospects more effectively. All right. Well, I'm well within the time today. So
Perfect.
we have time to open it up to the floor for anyone who, hey, if you have anything to add to this topic, like, nuggets, wisdom, because we have a lot of amazing leaders here, a lot of very experienced leaders here. Um, Please feel free to chime in, or if you have any questions. Yes, Lynn, I can definitely share the slides. Let's see. If you guys don't have my email, I'm going to put my email in the chat. Please
Yeah.
send me an email because they're too big to send
Yeah,
via.
send it to me and I can add it on the comments for the video and there are legacy makers.
Oh, okay, perfect, perfect. I
That will
will
be
send.
there and then you just see the
Yeah.
presentation and you can download the slides too.
Okay, perfect. Yes.
That was great,
I'll agree.
Nilbert. And I wanted to just make one comment because it was such a great subject, and that is always the most important question of the day on the presentation. Is there any reason we couldn't go ahead and get started today? Quiet. That is so important because we get nervous, don't we? And we will, oh, but now do you need any more questions? Can I send you anything? You just asked a question. Wait, the first person that responds loses. Are you with me? So you have to wait. Now you find out a lot of information right there. They'll say, well, maybe I need more information. Oh, okay. Is that what we need to make the decision? What can I send to help you make the decision? Or, or they may say, well, no. I say, great. Here's the next step. Either pull up your iPhone I always take enrollment sheets if I were on a one-to-one and say, great, here. I have them even by my phone. And I'll have an enrollment sheet and I'll say, is there any reason we couldn't go ahead and get started today? Quiet. I don't say a word. Well, no, I guess not. I said, great. All right. Now, what was it? Let's get started. What's the correct spelling of your name? Blah, 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 blah. I just go on like I've assumed the sale. And I write it down. And then get your address. Is this your billing address, your shipping address, your email? And I don't even go into what the username is or password because I'll fill that in and then they can change it. And then I just say, which credit card would you like to use today? That's it. But we're afraid, aren't we? Just like Nilbert said, we're afraid and we get nervous. No, they're not saying anything, but don't say a word. Don't say a word and you find out where they are. So that is the art of closing. Good for you, Nilbert. Very good.
Yes. Yes, and something that you say also, and I put the picture on the right side, the movie Alec Baldwin, I don't know if you remember that movie, where he's teaching a group about sales, and he say, always be closing.
Yes,
Okay.
ABC. Yeah, you've heard all my love story. Always be closing.
That's right.
Always be closing.
And something very important, when say ABC, you don't do it at the end. You do it from the beginning. When you make people agree with you, do you agree that this, yes, 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 you're building through the side. And that's something that you probably hear me say many times, by now you already know. You see, by now, by now, by now. But it's by now you already know because you are planting those seeds.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, etc. Now, at the beginning, you do at least the first 7 presentations with your upline because obviously, unless you are master closer already, it's important that you're working with your team, with your upline or leaders, because that's through the presentation, always is ABC, always you are closing, always you are making sure that people agree. Do you agree that these studies are amazing? Yes. Do you agree that it's amazing that we are in the PDR? Yes. That's closing. Those are closing questions that are preparing you for the end of the presentation. And that's the way that you become a master closer. Sometimes people that think master closers to be rough and aggressive. No, it's something that you do through the whole presentation. But anyway, and it's so important. And what Christine said is totally true. And of course, Nilbert, like always, a great presentation. Anybody else has a comment or you want to ask something?
Just one other little thing, just before that question, if you finish up, you might say, if you're a little nervous still, because you're afraid to ask, just say, what did you like best? What you heard today?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to say, what do you think? No, you never say, what do you want to think? Then they go, well, then they think they can critique you and give you all the criticism. Well, I don't know, blah, blah. No, you say, what did you like best? And then you steer them. And I say, well, that's great. I agree. Well, I know you can see the value of the great products and the career. Well, is there any reason we couldn't go ahead and get you started today?
Yeah. And I agree. As a matter of fact, that's part of our script training closing is what do you like the best? I always like to add it one more time. What else do you like? Because I want them to be selling themselves. What else do you like? Right. And you do it only twice. Don't spend the whole, and what else? And tell me what else. And 6 months later, tell me more. No, it's just twice. But because Christina is very right, because when you say, what do you think about? People can say, you have misspelling in your presentation. I don't like the colors. Things that don't have sometimes anything to do. Okay, you have a friend that he goes to, I don't know, Toastmasters. You are not as good. Because that happened to me when I was starting out. And I do a presentation. What do you think? I can tell you how to go to Toastmasters. You are not really good yet. Didn't have anything to do with the presentation. That was when I was probably in the business like 4 or 5 months. And of course, when I got home, I was very depressed. I said, oh, no. I asked the wrong question.
Right. It's the wrong person.
Lori, you have a question and then Caroline or a comment?
Yeah, I just have a comment. I was just wanting to say too, another line that I've heard before is when you want to close a person, you say, well, what spelling would you like on your paycheck or on your commission check? How would you like to spell? How do you want your name spelled? So that way it'll close them really quick too, because it's like, oh, then they're like, well, yeah, I want my name spelled, this way. That's how I want it.
That's good.
And that's a great question.
Yeah. What was that again? Is it what would you like the spelling on your paycheck?
Yeah, the spelling of your name.
Yeah, that's the one. That's a good one.
That's
so
very unique.
I just wanted to break out that one because that one is like if you get kind of scared or whatever when you're talking to a person and like after you say, well, what do you like or whatever, and then once they've told you what they like, you can just say, okay, well, how do you want your spelling on your paycheck? That way, you're not saying, do you want to do this, or you're not saying anything, but they're kind of like telling you, I want my paycheck, and then you say, okay, and then you go down the rest of the process and. What we're still doing this plan here. I think this is, and maybe you start recommending. Say, I recommend this plan here, and and then they'll kind of engage them. So yeah.
Yeah, there's something I never heard. I heard, for example, and I said, for example, where do you want the check to be sent? But now, how do you want me to spell the name to make sure that you get the check or to get paid? Wow, that's amazing because you can do it twice. You can have about the address. Where do I send the money? Or where do we send the money? And how do we spell your name to make sure that's right in the check, although we are doing deposits? Caroline, next.
Yeah, and that makes them excuse me, Caroline, add on to that. That is exactly, now they're already visualizing themselves. Oh,
that's right. I love that. Great, Lori.
That was really good. Love that. I'm always learning. That's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal actually a barrel there. I'm not stealing it. I am borrowing it. Caroline, go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah. So I just want to make a comment. Because I do a lot of sales and stuff, and I never ask. Well, basically, when first I started in this company about original plot 5 years ago, I had no idea that there was anything less than the largest pack. So all I was always doing was selling the largest pack, not knowing the ignorance of me that there's other stuff. And then I always would say, well, how do you want to pay for it? Credit card or Visa? And then I had sold a lot of packs at that time, but what ruined me was when I found out there was other things below, then what was going in with the lowest pack. So you just have to be confident and just ask for what you want. Anyway, that's two
Yeah,
cents
that's
there.
true. And you always start with the big packs, not the other way around. Because if the person say, okay, I cannot afford this, well, we have a pack that's about half. That's the next one. And then when you say about half, say, whoa, I'm going to say half the money in case they cannot go with the big one. And still you are on the business pack at that point. And again, if they can't afford it, you don't go right away into the intro pack. You say, well, we have something that's about half of the business. That's the premium. Because if you start with a small, then you start, okay, well, this is a $300. And then suddenly you go, well, and there's another one that is 600. And there's another one that's 12. Suddenly the person says, no, I want the little one. That's why you start the other way around. Oh, Kimberly say, how much do you want your first check to be? This is important, by the way, too. As a matter of fact, I asked a similar question. How much do you want to make ASAP? And then I say, and 12 months from now, how much money do you want to be earning? I'm assuming already that they're inside in the business.
You know, just another add-on about what Caroline was saying. It's really what we think, what we expect. I think that's very good. If you just always lead with the big packs, then, you know, that's, I know Holly DeMott does that. She gets a lot of pro packs. She's got a lot of founders because she just think business and think bigger. Are you with me? But I remember a lesson I learned, but if you don't have the money, we think they don't have the money. And so we go back to where we're coming from, but you don't know what they really have. And I remember this story when I was in the Pink Company. I remember when I was a brand new person and I was out doing these parties that we had to do. And we had sets just like the intro, premium, pro pack, business builders, etc. And I'd have a little tray and I'd have all the products in there. And then I would say, this is our Cadillac pack. And I'd say it is like $125 or whatever it was. And then I would take things out of the tray. And I said, and then we have just like the Buick or something. And then I said, and then I take more things out of the tray. And then there was just a few little things left. And I said, of course, we have just the basic skincare. Well, that was a real visual, you know, of taking things away. But here's the deal. At that appointment I had that day, there was about 5 ladies, and there were some that were very rich, and there was, but during my presentation, a lady came in all dusty, kind of all, you know, hair frazzled, and she didn't look so good, but she sat through it, and then at the end, we would always close on an individual, and I remember saying, I prejudged and said, well, okay, let's see what we could do today to help you get your basic skincare, the $29, not the $125 pack. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot today, but that was a lot 43 years ago, okay? And she said, well, can I get the big one? And I went, oh, of course. How embarrassing. I learned that lesson. I assumed she had no money. How dare me judge people? So I learned that very quickly, that I would always assume everybody had the money. Everybody will buy where they can. But I never apologize for starting with the big, because you just don't know what they're thinking. But can you imagine someone saying, well, can I get the bigger one? You're insinuating you don't have any money. That's insulting if you think about it. So don't be afraid to talk about big packs and then to work backwards, and say no judgment, and so that was just an add-on. Sorry.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Anybody a comment before we go? Now you have one more person. I know some of you probably, or questions or
George,
any comments. And
I
by
just
the way,
want to say that Christine is the most amazing closer ever. And just a little reminder that she closed my 23-year-old and 25-year-old 2 years ago on founder packs. And so what if Christine thought they were too young and they didn't have money? But they, my older son, oh, my dog, my older son made a lot of money on Bitcoin, and my younger son just saves all his money that he gets from everybody. But what I'm saying is, Christine, I wouldn't have done that. That's why I always send everybody to Christine. But she did close them, properly. So sometimes if you're too close to someone, you might need help, because you know what I mean? Like, she closed the two of them on it. And Christine, my son Brian, came downstairs and said, I love that, Christine. He was listening to you this morning, getting his coffee. Now if we can get him to work. But anyway, closing is important. And the two of them are so happy that they're founders. Honestly, y'all. They both feel like they're a part of a company that, that they could invest in a company with their mommy. So thank you, Christine.
thank you. Frida, you have a...
George, I just want to share one of the statements that I use a lot at the very end of a presentation is this: how do you see the decision you make today changing your tomorrow? And it makes people stop and think.
Yes. That's right. That's right. That's true, especially today. But yeah, I'm glad you're saying that. And by the way, that great call this morning and amazing call. Thank you for everybody that was part of the call also after, because we have a lot of great nuggets, great presentation, and a lot of great nuggets that we can start using. Guess when? Remember what I said? As soon as we get out of the phone, or the Zoom. Well, you can be on the phone also on the Zoom. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. We see you, what's today? Tuesday? Yeah, we have the Tuesday empowerment call tonight. Make sure you are on that call. We also, I already posted that we have a meeting on Tuesday next week in Salt Lake City. Make sure, and in Lehigh, excuse me, at the headquarters. Make sure you send people there. Also, I post also the different regionals that are happening this week and next week. And then next week, we are going to be in Las Vegas. But anyway, super excited. I talk to you later. Have an amazing day, everybody.